Welcome to Cups of Tea with Kim podcast, where we speak all things alignment, purpose, and practicalities. Hi everyone, Kim Stewart here with Cups of Tea with Kim podcast. This is my very first in my podcasting history. So, the best way to do something is just to get on and do it. So welcome. I'm so glad that you've found me. And today we're going to be talking about meditation. But first of all, let me share a little bit about where the Cups of Tea with Kim podcasts came from, because, this is being recorded as part of the changes that have occurred with this COVID-19 that we've all experienced. Here in Australia, we have had quite a bit of chaos, if you like, starting at the end of 2019 when we experienced intense bushfires, and that continued to, create a lot of change for a lot of people. And as with all adversity, it also brings out the best of people and community and sharing and supporting. And then, of course, we went from there into the isolation, the lockdown of the COVID virus. And for me, like many people, this time of being more inward, slowing down, really looking at how have we been doing business or working or interacting, all levels we've been looking at to see, are they serving us now and how do we move forward? Many people have suddenly, been working from home, and I personally have been working from home for 10 years. So I've had a deep look at what have I been doing for the last 10 years. And from that, it just felt that it was time for me to make a change. It feels like a 180-degree change, so a total pivot. And of course, the podcasting has been on my to-do list for quite some time. So, the expression, if not now, when, has become very relevant in my life. I'm 58. I've got heaps still to give, but also aware of, I'm not at the beginning of my life. So I want to make sure that I'm honouring my mission to do all I can to positively expand the consciousness of our world. And I do that particularly through the empowerment of the feminine. I just love working in the feminine way, and I believe that this is what is being called for all of us, is, the masculine model of push, push, push is no longer relevant for us now, and working with the feminine, the all-inclusive, the more the gathering mentality, where we're looking around to, to include everybody, and it's a much gentler process, strong, fierce, all of those things, but very gentle and also very inclusive. And it's certainly not pushing beyond, our energy levels, and really paying attention and honouring all of that. So our way of working is changing. The Dalai Lama, who was my first real experience of personal growth and development, he says that Western women will heal our world, and I believe that means that it is the feminine energy that is the way forward for us. So we will see those masculine ways dropping away. But that's not for me to comment on so much, and that's not the point of this podcast. This podcast is about all things alignment, purpose, and practicalities. I am a Capricornian as well, and I do like the practicality. So that's something that I do bring to my coaching and the services that I offer, is that being able to see a clear pathway forward to join the dots to assist people to get from here to there. So hopefully you enjoy this podcast and you get just what you need whenever you listen to it. This will be launching on my mother's birthday on the 30th of June. And this really came about. My daughter, Ellie, moved to London several years ago, and she was away for about 3 years. And like all mother-daughter relationships, we had some challenges. That's how we learn to be in relationship. But when she went away to London, and it was indefinite, I didn't know when she was coming home, I did have that experience of feeling like, oh, am I ever going to breathe again? This is really different for me. Although, I wanted her to live her journey and her dreams. So what we did was we would set up, and we used Skype then, to have cups of tea together, to sit down and have those conversations. Now, admittedly, because of the different time zones, sometimes she might have a wine and I would have a cup of tea, or sometimes we both have a cup of tea, or I might have a wine and she'd have a cup of tea. But the point is, it's that beautiful energy of sitting down and having a cup of tea with somebody, really sharing what's in your heart and supporting each other. I mean, we've been doing that for, so many years. Herbal teas with their, medicinal qualities, and sharing of tea. I mean, the Japanese tea ceremony. So having the cup of tea and having that beautiful conversation with my daughter was just such a highlight for me, and something that I look forward to when she was living overseas. And, what continued on after that was that after, my mother has been passed away 10 years ago in 2010. And one of the things that I miss the most is, that opportunity to sit down and have a cup of tea with her. Well, because of my psychic abilities, of course, and I believe we all have this, it's just a matter of practicing them. But to sit down and have a cup of tea with her was something that I really missed. So, of course, I do that on a regular basis, and I have a process that came through just around doing that, which I will share on one of these conversations. So that's really where Cups of Tea with Kim podcast was born, and I just want to share all things that are relevant for me, that come through to share with you, to support you on your own unique journey. Nobody is living your life. It is your life for that reason. It's very unique. And one of the tools that I learned early on was meditation. My beautiful Buddhist teacher, Silvana, taught me the loving kindness meditation, and she sat with me for me to really learn this, and that was in my early 30s, so well over 25 years ago, and I have been daily meditating ever since. And the reason that I began meditating was, I experienced a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear. And I'm not here to say to you that, meditation cured all of that, and, there was some, miraculous healing from that. But what meditation does for me is to show me the strength and the ability that I have in myself to calm my own system, and to really be able to witness my thoughts and know when my mind is kicking in and, trying to scare the crap out of me, which our mind can do from time to time, and can take us down those rabbit holes that aren't, serving us. So, first of all, meditation really taught me that witness muscle. First of all, it taught me that I'm not my mind. And when we realize that we're not our mind, then we realize that we have the power to direct our mind. So let's drop in together before we keep talking any further. So if it feels appropriate for you, just gently close your eyes and bring your awareness to your breath. And just notice where your hips are connected to the seat, or if you're standing up or walking, just bring your awareness to your hips. Bringing your awareness into your body by noticing your breath, by noticing your hips, and then by noticing your feet, feeling them connected to the earth, feeling yourself grounded and connected into Mother Earth. You might like to imagine some roots coming out of the bottom of your feet and connecting down right into the heart, the core of Mother Earth. And just noticing that you are on this beautiful planet and being held close to Mother Earth. And just continuing to breathe. Breathe into any of those parts that might be feeling a little timid or a little tense. We're not looking to change, just to acknowledge and to know that all is well. Beautiful. And noticing by doing that simple process, which of course we can do at any time, pretty much anywhere, unless of course you're driving and you wouldn't be doing it with your eyes closed, but you can drop into your body like that. And when we do, it automatically calms our system. Now, if there's something else going on and there's anxiety, just sitting with that anxiety will just stop us from trying to push it away, which is what we tend to do. So coming back to, the types of meditation and why we meditate, well, as I said to you initially, I wanted to find peace. I wanted to find some calmness in my life. I wanted to be able to manage the anxiety so that it wasn't controlling me. And it had gotten to a point in my life where I needed to look for different solutions, and that was exactly what came when I looked for that solution. So, first of all, to learn that I was more than my mind, to actually get to feel that essence of myself. And it's so interesting for me to be casting, my mind back to remember some of those practices that I did in those early stages. Of course, guided meditation is a fabulous way to begin any meditation practice, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. But one of the practices as we got on and into the journey of, learning to practice meditation was to imagine myself in different corners of the room. And I remember that being a very profound time for me when I realized that I could put my awareness into the corner of the room and be looking back at myself. That was really a big point of change for me when I really realized that I am not my body, I am not my mind, and I'm not all the thoughts that go running through my mind. And, in those days, for anybody that experiences anxiety, you know, it's those thoughts. A thought, a feeling might come of dread, and then a thought will come, and then a story starts to run, you know, and that story can just take off and really become into a catastrophe. And of course, you know, the energy starts to rise on that, and that's, you know, what's happening in the anxiety. So depending on where you are, but I feel like meditation is a tool that more and more people are coming to realize how important it is. And some things that I want to share with you around, you know, I so often hear people say to me, I've tried it and I can't do it. And even I had somebody recently say, all that, you know, I close my eyes and all that I see is the backs of my eyelids. Well, that actually is meditation. The fact that you can see the backs of your eyelids is consciousness. You've got a consciousness there that you can see the backs of your eyelids. So, you know, as our mind gets involved, it overcomplicates things, right? And wants to make it harder than it is. So we did a drop in, a little, you know, earlier in this podcast. That's meditation. There's guided meditation. And I always suggest for people that are starting out to do guided meditation, because you're guiding your mind. Our mind likes something to do, and that's why it creates the dramas if it hasn't got something to do, or if we aren't, you know, acknowledge it and driving it where we want it to be going. So to give your mind something to do with a guided meditation is a really great way to practice. And, you know, meditation and that witness muscle and that ability to be still, that's why it's called a practice. It's building that muscle. And, you know, I always say just start small, like anything in life. You know, we're not going to go straight into a gym and, you know, I don't know weights, but lift, you know, really heavy weights the first time we go. We're going to build up to that. And so too with meditation. It's a meditation practice, which means there is nowhere to arrive to. There is nothing to get done. It actually is about being present and hearing, you know, and seeing and experiencing what is here for me today. And it's your practice. So if you can remove the expectations and just be with what is. So starting by guided meditations. Now, I'll put my YouTube channel in the show notes, because under the meditation tab, there's some guided meditations that I've done on particular areas. Loving kindness, of course, is there, and Your Perfect Day, helping if you're wanting some clarity. Samskaras, so healing wounds, listening to your heart. So they're there, but also there's a really great Joe Dispenza one there, and also a beautiful one for processing energy. So they're all there under that tab for you. So feel free you know, to go and use those as often as you want to. And of course, always, you know, look around. The other tool that I suggest is I have an app, the Calm app I always go to say Calm app. That's a great one. But the one that I actually use is called Insight Timer. And on there are guided meditations. There's all sorts of different frequency sounds and music. And I often find that if you have some music or something playing that is holding the space for you to be able to do your meditation. So you can select from, I think there's 2-minute ones all the way up to, you know, 3-hour ones. So, you know, and what I guide my clients to do is to each day, as part of your practice, look at what resonates with you. You know, what time frame are you looking for, but also notice which particular meditation draws you. So if you click on the music tab, it'll take you there. So I do that. I use the music and I look for what I'm guided to that day. And of course, as my practice has strengthened, I utilize my practice to, of course, to calm my system, to process any energies, and I'll talk about that at another time, and also to receive guidance. It's that in that space that I'm looking for direction. I believe this is a co-creative process, and I work with my guides, with my team, and tap into the field so that I am serving to the highest good that I can be on any given day. And I tell you, when we get to really relax into this way, which is the very feminine way, it takes a lot of pressure off. It takes a lot of the having to know it all and really to be open to what's relevant now and trusting that and going with that. So find ones that resonate for you. Download an app that will support you, and make a commitment to starting and do your own experiment. You know you best, and see what it is for you, see what you discover in this. And for me, my children were little when I learned to meditate, and I often say they were my Zen masters, because so often in my meditation I would have the door open to my bedroom and the little person would walk in going, "Mom," and then the next thing they'd say was, "Oh, sorry," and then they'd back out really quietly. So I was able to hold the space in my meditation through those sweet little voices coming in. So I say to them, they were my trainers to help me stay present despite what was going on outside. It definitely helped me to be a calmer mama. It helped me to not feel as broken. I have a reasonable story in my backspace, like many of us do, and anybody that's working in the healing realm, I believe, has quite adversity in their life. So to realise that I wasn't broken, that my adversity was actually my opportunity to expand and grow, and meditation has been my go-to, and continues to be, and it just keeps expanding, and it keeps becoming richer, and just such a beautiful experience for me. I see many different colours and frequencies and energies, but again, I don't want to set that there for you to have an expectation that you should be seeing anything. But of course, if you are experiencing things in your meditation and it's confusing you or you're unclear about it, always reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to reassure you that you're doing great, and that you are on the right path. So thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful podcast, and I'm really excited. I feel the relief that the first one is done. It's always challenging to get going, and I'm looking forward to bringing many more, and of course I will be bringing on guests down the track. So thank you for joining me for a cup of tea, and I look forward to connecting with you again next time. Bye for now.